Hey, my firsties. So we are going to read a really fun book today, and it's the holidays, right? So a lot of people celebrate Christmas this time of year. Maybe you do with your family. There's Hanukkah is going on, and there's just a lot of different holidays that we celebrate that we'll talk about in our live meetings, and you'll do some things on Seesaw, figuring out how different countries celebrate different holidays. But we're going to read today a Christmas book, and this book is actually based off of a movie that you may or may not have seen before. And you all, this is probably my favorite Christmas movie ever. You ready for it? Our book is Home Alone. So maybe you've seen the movie, and if you haven't, that's okay. If you have, that's okay too. So if you have, maybe you'll see some things that are the same between the book and the movie, and maybe some things that are different. And if you haven't seen the movie, then I think you're really going to enjoy this story. It's really funny and just really fun to read. So what they've done is they've taken the movie and they made a children's book out of it. So we have our book Home Alone, the classic illustrated storybook. And it's based on a story written by John Hughes and directed by Chris Columbus. So that just means that they took the movie and they made it into a book. So the movie was written by those guys, and then they made it into this book. And it's illustrated by Kim Smith, which I don't know about you, but I think she did a fantastic job on the illustrations. I love them. I feel like they look so much like the characters do in the movie, the actors. All right, so let's read our book, Home Alone. We can see the setting already, and notice this guy right here. He's going to be a really important character in our story, and if you've seen the movie, then you probably know why. But pay attention to this guy because you'll see him again. So we already see the setting, the McAllister's home. Home Alone. 'Twas 3 nights before Christmas, and the McAllister family was getting ready to leave for vacation. Everyone was busy packing. You can tell they're all running around everywhere trying to pack for vacation. Everyone except Kevin, who was busy getting into trouble. "Go straight to bed," his mother demanded. "That's enough trouble for one day." Ooh, he looks mad. Look at his eyebrows. Lying in bed, Kevin could hear voices and laughter coming from downstairs. Everyone was having fun without him. "I hope I never see my family again," Kevin whispered. "I wish I was home alone." The next morning, the house was very, very quiet. No one was shouting. No one was running around. No one was telling Kevin to hurry up and eat his breakfast. No one was home. Finally, Kevin realized what had happened. "I made my family disappear!" For the first time ever, Kevin had the house all to himself. He raced up and down the halls. He jumped on all the beds. He ate a giant ice cream sundae for breakfast. So if you've seen the movie, do all of these things happen in the movie too? Yeah, I even tried to make my voice sound like Kevin sounds in the movie. I tried to read with expression. After watching hours of television, he searched through his brother's private stuff and rode a toboggan down a giant mountain. He even tried his father's aftershave lotion. This was not a good idea. It stings. But sometimes it was scary to be all alone. Kevin was especially afraid of his next door neighbor. Old Man Marley was the scariest person who lived on their block. So this is Old Man Marley. And that night, Kevin heard whispers outside the living room window. Burglars were snooping around his house. "You see," Marv said, "most of the houses on this street are empty. Everyone is away for the holidays." "Perfect," Harry said. "We'll come back tomorrow night and steal everything." Well, Kevin was so scared. He dialed 911, but the telephone didn't work. The wires had been damaged in a snowstorm. After hiding under his parents' bed for a long time, Kevin decided that he was being silly. Only a wimp would be hiding, and I can't be a wimp. I'm the grown-up of this house, and I need to act like one. The next day was Christmas Eve, and Kevin had plenty of grown-up work to do. He walked to the grocery store and bought food. He put his clothes in the washing machine. He decorated a Christmas tree. I'm sorry, guys. I don't know what happened, but my iPad shut off on me recording that video. So let's pick up back where we left off, okay? He decorated a Christmas tree, and he hung Christmas stockings for his parents and brothers and sisters. I miss you guys, he whispered. I wish you would come back. Kevin's family always went to church on Christmas Eve, so that's what Kevin did too. After the service ended, he saw his scary next-door neighbor, Old Man Marley, sitting nearby. You don't have to be afraid, Mr. Marley said. The kids in the neighborhood have lots of spooky stories about me, but they're not true. After they talked for a while, Kevin realized that Mr. Marley was in fact a very nice man. Are you visiting anyone for Christmas? Kevin asked. No, Mr. Marley said. I miss my family and I'd like to see them, but my son and I are fighting. I said some angry words that I didn't mean. Kevin knew exactly how Mr. Marley felt. Kevin remembered wishing his family would disappear, but he hadn't really meant it. You should try talking to your son, Kevin said. Maybe I will, Mr. Marley said. When Kevin left the church, it was already dark. The burglars would be coming soon. He ran all the way home. Kevin made a plan that was full of traps. So you can see his battle plan. He's got heavy cannons and Christmas ornaments, and ice on the stairs, and feathers with a fan that has glue on it, and toy cars, and tar, which is like a really sticky kind of liquid, and then ice, lots of traps. He scattered toy cars and smeared tar on the basement steps. He made a big pile of feathers and hid sharp ornaments under the windowsill. He sprayed water on the front steps and tied paint cans to ropes. He stretched a tripwire through the hallway and built an escape route to his treehouse. At 9 o'clock, Marv and Harry returned to the McAllister's house, ready to steal everything inside. They didn't know that Kevin had sprayed water all over the steps, or that the water had frozen into slick, slippery ice. So what happened? They slipped and fell. The burglars stumbled into all of Kevin's traps. Yuck! Yow! Wah! Ooh! Marv and Harry slipped on the toy cars and were knocked over by paint cans. Kevin escaped through his bedroom window and ran next door to his neighbor's house. Unfortunately, Marv and Harry were close behind. Now we've got you, kid, Harry said. Mr. Marley arrived just in time. Whack! Whack! He bonked the burglars with his snow shovel and called the police. Then he brought Kevin home. That night, Kevin left a note for Santa Claus, along with some milk and cookies. He couldn't wait for Christmas morning. So here's his note. He said, Dear Santa, I don't need any presents. Just bring back my family. Love, Kevin McAllister. When he woke up the next day, Kevin rushed into the living room. Mom? Dad? Is anyone here? No one answered him. And then there's his note again. Then he heard a familiar voice. Kevin, is that you? His mother was home. I missed you so much, he said, giving her a giant hug. I missed you too, she said. Where are the others? Kevin asked. The front door flew open, and there they were. His father, his brothers and sisters. Everybody was home at last. Are you okay? His father asked. I'm just happy you're all back, Kevin said. Merry Christmas. And then this is my favorite part. You're going to tell me your favorite part in just a minute. But my favorite part is the very last page, the very ending of the book. What do we see happened with Old Man Marley and his son's family? You remember what he told Kevin in the church? He told Kevin that he had had a really bad fight with his son and said some things that he didn't really mean, and so he hadn't talked to his son in a long time. And so now Kevin said, like, well, why don't you just try to talk to your son? And did he do that? He did. And we didn't have to read anything to know that. We could infer from just looking at the picture and seeing them together with smiles on their faces. We can infer that he apologized and tried talking to his son, and now he was able to see them again, which I just love. I think that's awesome. So that was my favorite part, but your favorite part might be different than mine, and that's okay. So what you're going to do is you're going to go back to Seesaw, and you're going to tell me what was your favorite part of our story, Home Alone. There are a lot of things that I love about this book, but if you just had to choose one thing that was your favorite part of our story, what would it be? And I want you to tell me why. So like my favorite part was when Old Man Marley got back together with his son, because I like seeing families together. So that's why I liked that part. So you all tell me your favorite part. I can't wait to see what you liked about our book. And don't forget to put all those capital letters at the beginning of your sentences and all of those periods at the end, okay? I hope you enjoyed our story, and Merry Christmas.